anxiety. Young people now, under 33 millennials, right? They all talk about anxiety. I say they because I'm 44, right? It's so brilliant that everyone talks about anxiety, and it scares the shit out of people who are over 33 because we were never allowed to talk about it, yeah? So with anxiety, I just need to pull it apart a bit, and I will really bring the body into this. So actually, people talk about stress, oh, it's really bad, it's really bad. Well, actually, stress is really good, because as a human race, we would not have survived if it hadn't have been for what happens when we feel anxiety, okay? So we would not have been able to run away from the dinosaur, yeah? So it's often, it's about survival and how we use that energy. So anxiety is an energy, it's a higher energy, okay? And we all have it. I've got it now because I'm having to perform, okay? So what happens is the heart starts going, okay? Blood's pumping, it's survival, but it's how we use that energy. The worst thing you can do for someone who's anxious is sit them down in the corner and just tell them to take a few breaths, or this thing in a brown bag. Absolutely rubbish. If you have anxiety, it is energy. You need to move, and you need to come back to your breath. So without this, we would not have survived as a human race. So it's about using that energy. And you've talked about cortisol in the morning. It's brilliant that I can hear this and work. And it's knowing when our energy's best. So for me, my energy's higher in the morning, so I can get this work done, that work done. 5 o'clock, I can't do that sort of work. So it's using the adrenaline and the cortisol, and we use it in our work. Put it in our work. That's when we'll go and do our exercise and go to the gym in the morning or do our driving lessons. Yeah, and when we want to do lower energy stuff, that's when we might do our meditation in the evening. So stress is not bad. We would not have survived. We wouldn't get PhD deadlines done, right? Or be able to stand up in Milan and present our work. Without it, we'd be a sloth. Okay, so there's a difference in energy. Okay, so we have to use that energy. So what causes anxiety? What causes it? So I get lots of young people come to me and they think, and they say, I've got a diagnosis of anxiety, and they think that's it for life and that's what I've got. So anxiety is a fear of something between this moment now and something in the future. That is anxiety, yeah? Often based on shadows maybe of the past, but the anxiety is about, it's fear-based. So with anxiety, I'll ask people, what's your fear? That my boss is going to tell us off, that my boyfriend's going to dump us, that I'm going to lose all my money, that I'm going to have a panic attack on stage in Milan. So it's about the future. It hasn't even happened yet. Yeah, and we're holding that in our heads. So what happens when we get anxious? And again, higher energy. Yeah, heart, higher energy. So change it. So this is clinical, some things that happen in our bodies, okay? Change of vision, dizziness, lightheaded, dry mouth. Sometimes people use mouth spray because their anxiety can get quite high. Racing thoughts, we can't think, cannot think. You can't even think of our name often with what's going on. The heart's going, because the heart, it's primal. So we still think the dinosaurs running down Northumberland Street to get us now, whereas actually we just have to get that assignment finished. Yeah, but from a primal place, we're getting ready to run from that dinosaur. So the heart's going and it's pumping energy, blood into the muscles, either fight or flight. And often you'll notice when you're working with people that it is hands or legs. People have a different one, whether they would fight or flight. Adrenaline, your breathing, all the breathing's up here. All the breathing's up here. Palms are sweaty. I get it on the side of my hands actually, really sweaty. Need to go to the loo. And like I say, the muscles are ready to either fight or flight. On a reception of MTV, it was like I was out of my body, right? And I thought, holy shit, this is actually happening to me now. And I had to remember what I work with other people on, where we have to come back to our breath. So all you can remember is in for 4, out for 6. And if it's super high, you know, we can't be doing gentle breathing. We have to blow it out. And I had to move Move, 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 move. Okay? Because we've got to get rid of that adrenaline and cortisol. We've got to shake it out. Primarily, and animals do it now, so if a horse or a deer, right, the prey animals, they shoot and then they shake that out. Where do we go to shake? We've got to get rid of that adrenaline and cortisol. If it stays in the body, it becomes illness. Yeah? So it's we have to move. So with anxiety, one of the first things that goes is sleep. So when I'm doing an intake with people, I question a lot about how's your sleep. It's a massive indicator. And we'll know this ourselves when we're waking up, we've got the deadline, or what's going on, or what am I worrying about. I just need to pop something here. It never just happens. It's always triggered, right? So remember, anxiety is fear of this thing in the future. And what's often really useful is to name it. So a lot of people think that lots of people go to the hospital and they go to the RBI and say they think they're having a heart attack. We've talked about this, and 90% of people that rack up at A&E think they're having a heart attack, and the doctor will say to them, you're having a panic attack and you need to go and talk to your doctor. One doctor actually said to a client of mine, you're not going to believe what I'm going to tell you, but you need to go for a run. You need to run. And he did. And he might still go to the hospital, but he runs and he's managing it. So it's in awareness, how I can name this, what's going on, this is my anxiety. Feel it in your body and name it, okay? Notice your sleep. Question, why haven't I slept? Well, there's always a reason. Fine, just notice what it is. What's my fear? Am I scared of missing the bus? Getting up for the early meeting? We all have it, yeah? So what's the fear? So also when we get anxious, right, this is where this kicks in, unhealthy coping mechanisms. And remember, in society, they're normal, right? So just bring it into awareness. So there you go, this is that society, Western society, yeah, it's okay to drink, okay? The irony is with alcohol, it will considerably impact our anxiety the next day. We've all had this, right? The fear, what else did you call it?
Hangover.
Was worse than a hangover, where the anxiety kicks in. Yeah, and also we're more vulnerable and tired then because we haven't slept. So alcohol, caffeine, there you go. And really in awareness, watching caffeine. And you guys are great with the decaf. Yeah, it's really, so caffeine and anxiety are best friends. So often when I'm working with clients, I'll say to them, I'm asking them about how much coffee they drink if they're not sleeping. I worked with someone and they said, oh, well, I don't drink caffeine. They didn't sleep, stressed. I mean, they had 20 cups of tea a day. Literally, it's what we have to bring it into awareness. It's in my awareness because this is sort of what I do. But it's actually, where's the caffeine in green tea? I only drink green tea. How do you think China's so successful? China's run on green tea. It's full of caffeine. So it's just being in awareness, and you're very good at this. So just when am I taking the caffeine? When am I going for the sugar? Overspending's a big one. So it's really watching yourself when people are buying cars, getting a Rolex, overspending, gambling, super easy online as well. Drugs.
What was that, drugs?
That's a bit of coke. That? So people take a lot of coke.
I don't know. It was like...
Oh,
I thought that was cottage cheese, actually.
Oh, cottage cheese. Yeah, no, the cottage cheese is all right for anxiety. But people take a lot of drugs. It may not be spoken about, especially young people. Drugs, alcohol, food, coping mechanism, overwork. All of this is familiar to me. All of this is familiar to me. And it's knowing that it's never triggered and how we can bring it into awareness when it's going on, and then what I might need to do. Tech. We're working in the tech industry, right? Massive trigger for anxiety. I talk about it a lot, about delete your apps, and I do delete Slack and Outlook from my phone after checkout and put them on a Monday morning. That's what I do. And now, for the boss to say I haven't got them on my phone, that's great permission, right? We do need that permission. Always on. So again, part of my intake, and it's not just young people, I ask them about your relationship with social media, and then it opens up. Sometimes it doesn't, and it's not relevant. Don't discount it. It's massive. Impact on self-esteem. We've all got journeys there, right? That's familiar to everyone there. But there's positives here. This is with anxiety, and it's being driven by young people, and I love that I'm with more young people in the room. It's completely big. I know, it's so good. Hey, Polly! So we've got Ruby Wax. Everyone's thought she was just the mad wacko woman off the telly, right? And because if you think years ago, it was only Stephen Fry who was allowed to talk about his mental health, and then he would disappear and then come back, but no one would really talk about it, right? And Ruby Wax was seen as the mad version of him. Now Ruby Wax is promoting Amazon's Christmas campaign, you know? So these books, Matt Haig, which you've read this book, right? So this is as well about tech, and he's a writer and how Twitter really impacted him. It's really good. This is an excellent book. The colourful colouring in thing sort of passed. You know, the knitting came, then it was the colouring in. But there's phases, and young people taking up gardening, baking. Bloody brilliant, right? A lot of young people use the TEDx talks and YouTube to communicate. It's super important. And you've got really the apps. You know, you've got big companies and small companies, and we're talking about meditation. This change will come from the young people. It's so powerful. So young people now are choosing not to share, not to be always on. And when I say young, I'm talking 12, 13. They're the next generation, right? So it's really exciting. So that's a really quick overview about anxiety, healing, and how we can bring it into awareness.